All right, give me your name first.
My name is Tom Holmes, and I'm from Flowery Branch, Georgia.
Okay. How long you been in the OVTA?
Gosh, I can't even, since the early part of this century. Alan is my cousin, and his father is my mother's, who's passed on. Was my brother, was her brother, and Johnny, his father, is up in here trying to do some research into the family. And they had originally come from up in Virginia, and they wound up down in South Carolina, so they sort of came through this area. And he met some people in the Over Mountain Victory Trail Association and got very enthused about it, and decided he was going to hike over the mountains with them. And it's not too unusual for him. He called up my mother, his sister, and said, "Let's hike over the mountains." And she of course was always, whatever her brother wanted to do, she always was very enthusiastic about it. And I was concerned at that point. She was, gosh, Mom was in her 70s, and so I thought I better come along too. And I think maybe Alan and Scott were sort of the same situation with their father. So somehow we came along because our parents wanted to come, and we just joined. And now we're coming and they're not.
So, what does it mean to be a volunteer in this to you? What do you enjoy about this?
I've always enjoyed history to start out with, and to find out something. This is not included in the history books, and if it is, it's just maybe one or two sentences, and even then they don't even always get it right. The history and the importance of this battle, and the importance of, frankly, of the Southern Campaign and the American Revolution is very important. And that is just not included in our history books. The Revolutionary War was won in the South. By some estimates, more people died in South Carolina than all the other colonies combined during the Revolutionary War. And most of that is just left out of the history books for some reason. I guess written by the people who are up north and don't really know too much about the war in the South. And also the war in the South was a little bit more complex than it was up north. But it's a remarkable story, and I think it tells us something about ourselves.
Anything about it just totally impresses you more than anything? Any particular piece of this story? The fact that they were totally untrained or anything like that? Well,
they were volunteers, and they operated without a real command structure, and they knew what they had to do, and they did it. It was really remarkable. They didn't have people arguing all the time. They knew what was necessary, and very dangerous, obviously, and they just went out and did it under extreme hardships. It was really dangerous for them because the British were trying to get the Indians to attack. They would eventually attack, but they managed to get back in time to defend their homesteads. It was they didn't when they hit Kings Mountain is only about 30 miles from Charlotte. Mm-hmm. I mean, they went right into the lion's den to get this guy, and contrary to what some history books say, the British actually had a little bit of an edge in the manpower. They had the high ground. They had some of the Queen's Rangers who were trained in the classic, the musket with bayonet. And this time, it didn't work for them.